And we felt like we knew that audience pretty well. And women are just as competitive as men. Like, there's no reason.
Have you met my wife?
We were definitely light years ahead on so many things and innovating because we were definitely disrupting the space. But now, so fast forward from Zynga. So obviously, it's very important to know that you and Andrew know each other, have this history. It is very important for people starting companies to have that kind of a trust and camaraderie.
Back when we actually moved fast, didn't just say we moved fast.
It was a first-rate education in what moving fast truly looked like.
Yeah.
It also set the stage for crunch is crunch, and it's something that I actually care deeply about trying to avoid as an operator.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next episode of the Game Makers Lounge. Today we have Buren, who's joining us from Big Run Studios. He's someone we've all, CJD, Buren, and I worked at Zynga in the early days, the crazy fun days, I would say. And now he at Big Run is a customer of Snapser. And so we've, again, been working together for over a year. But more than Snapser, we're really excited to welcome him. Really, have a conversation with him about understanding real money gambling or gaming. That's what, Big Run has been doing for a while. And I thought that'll be an exciting topic that viewers would want to know about. So Buren, the mic is yours. Would love for you to start with an intro.
Yeah. So Buren, the CEO of Big Run Studios. We have been in business for over 6 years now. Yeah. Obviously, super excited to be here talking with you guys. I'm originally from the great state of West Virginia. I just sort of found my way to California. I wasn't doing much else in West Virginia there for a while, and I decided I wanted to change. And I came out here, and I kind of by hook and crook made my way for a while, and then I met a guy at a board game meetup one time. His name's Bill Mooney. I'll give a shout out to Bill Mooney while I'm.
Yeah, we know him.
Yeah. I was about to say I'm going to be stunned if you guys don't know him. Everybody knows Bill. But I literally just by chance met him one day at a board game meetup in the Richmond district of San Francisco. And I just happened to be between jobs at the time. And he was like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to figure it out." He's like, "Oh, you seem to like games. Do you like video games?" I said, "Love video games, of course." He's like, "You want to make video games for a living?" That was literally, I was like, yes, I would love to do that. And that was like on a Sunday. And he's like, "You go back to your house and you email me your resume and your contact information." That was like a Sunday. I had an interview at LucasArts on Monday and I started on Wednesday. Just bang, bang, bang. And my first job was a multiplayer lab tester at LucasArts, which was a very expendable position, but it taught me a tremendous amount. I'm super proud of having started in QA. I started there as a multiplayer lab tester and then became a QA lead, and then I worked on the Lego franchise for many years, almost 5 years. And that's where I met my business partner, Andrew Bell. He and I were both at Lucas at the time. He was in production. He helped me get my first job in production. And we would do these crazy turnarounds on these Lego games where we were working with a company called Traveler's Tales out of Knutsford, England. And they were basically trying to do what like Madden would do, where they wanted to put out a title every year. But the difference between Madden, which is basically the same game, that they were like, we're a brand new game every single year. And it was crazy. It was so much work, and it was so intense. And almost always the end product turned out great. And that was due to a lot of people's blood, sweat, and tears. But yeah, we would go and do these trips to Knutsford, and they would put 3 of us in an office that's half the size of my sort of small home office here. Like it was seriously a desk, and like if you were the third person, the first two people had to like get up and go out to let you. We had a lot of time in a really super confined office. And it's funny that in like a lot of ways, Big Run started right there in that tiny office. He and I just started talking about like, well, if you ran a studio, like what would you do different? Or like if you were in charge, like how would you like what would you do? And in many ways, like Big Run was like between there and then Zynga and a number of other places that we worked, it was sort of like, well, this is what I would do different, or this is what I would do the same, or and out of that, yeah, that was where Big Run really started. And yeah, our time there was great. I did things at like 25 or 26 years old, like with 2 or 3 years experience, that there's absolutely no reason they should have let me do. Like it accelerated my career in a way. There was a really tightly run. Like they had no interest in paying anybody anything ever. Like it was a wonderful place to work. I met my best friends that I've had in my whole life. I learned more than I've ever learned maybe in any other job. The pay, like, again, they just didn't want to. So yeah, they're like, who can do it? There was a very like, who can do it? And if you were sort of ambitious, which I was and am, like, I'd often just put my hand up and it's like, yeah, okay, all right, go. You go.
That's back when we actually moved fast. Didn't just say we moved fast.
That it was a first-rate education in what moving fast truly looked like.
Yeah.
It also set the stage for like, I mean, crunch is crunch, and it's something that I actually care deeply about trying to avoid as an operator. But it also taught me what the extremes of that edge can look like. Yeah. So, but again, so that was great in a number of ways, and I learned a bunch of things to not do and then to do, and then we went to Zynga, and that was in many ways a similar experience where I honestly treasure my time at Zynga. We were on Farmville for, oh gosh, I don't know, several years again, and 2 years maybe on Farmville and 1 in Casino, I think is the breakdown there. And I learned it was like going to live operations college. Like we were so far advanced on how to run a live operations product. They
had the cadence. They had a lot cadence locked down.
Unbelievably locked down. And just the way to sort of like roll things out to players, build expectation, like how to grow wallets and shrink it. Like it was honestly masterful stuff. And it was stuff that like I feel like mobile didn't catch up on for like a long time. The stuff that we're doing on web on Farmville and like it, yeah. I learned from really brilliant people too. There's so
we
many.
were definitely light years ahead on so many things and innovating because we were definitely disrupting the space. But now, so fast forward from Zynga. So obviously, it's very important to know that you and Andrew know each other, have this history. I think it's very important for people starting companies to have that kind of a trust and camaraderie. I think it's very important. And then when you all decided to start Big Run, like what compelled you to start it in a particular genre of gaming, or did that change, or did that evolve?
Yeah, no. So yeah, I knew Andrew for the whole time, and I don't know how other people do it. I mean, I know that plenty of people don't found companies with like their best friend, and I think that people sometimes tell you not to do stuff like that. I can't speak to anyone else's experience, but I mean, he was the officiant of my wedding. I am the godfather to his son. Like he is an absolute brother to me, like, and has been for a very, very long time. And we share a set of experiences and a hive brain thing that like I just don't have with anyone else on earth. And yeah, a lot of that again found at LucasArts, Zynga, and then when he and I were both working at a set of companies and kind of got to the end of like a series of projects and things. And again, we discussed so many times like we should start out on our own, do our own thing. and just the timing like kind of clicked, and it was like, if it's not going to happen now, it'll never happen. Like we gotta jump and we gotta do something. And that was where again Big Run really started. That's 2019, and we've always from the very beginning we've been a very like audience first. So, like before we do anything or decide on anything, we think about like exactly who the game that we're making is serving and the audience that we want to go after. And we wanted to take on underserved audiences, like people that just do not have stuff for them that's made for them very often. And the first hill we really wanted to tackle there was esports for women. Like it's a market that again we knew really well because we made Farmville for years, and then we worked on Casino, which certainly like there's a very red demographic of that's not female, but there's an audience that's very female in the casino space. And we felt like we knew that audience pretty well, and women are just as competitive as men. Like there's no reason.
Have you met my wife? Because you're talking about my wife.
Yeah, of course. Like I've met everyone. Like, so we really wanted to target women in America over 30 and provide for them a sort of competitive esports platform idea. And that was where we came up with Blackout Bingo. Like we knew bingo was sort of like super stale. Like nobody really sort of like done anything innovative in that space in a long time. And it was still making money. It still had like entrenched winners who were making money. So we partnered with Skills with a Z, Skills, who've been really great partners to us for the entirety of Big Run. And we partnered with them and got a game to market really fast, and it was a hit. It's been a hit. I mean, that was really the beginning, and just like sort of set Big Run off on its trajectory from there.
Cool.
That is super cool.
We've worked on I worked on 2 bingo games at Zynga, but they didn't land great. There was the bingo game, which I don't know if you worked on that in Casino. There was another one that I loved called Slingo, which was like some variation of bingo and the balls.
Yeah. Slingo's a bingo variant. I didn't directly work on bingo stuff at Zynga, but there was always chatter about bingo at Zynga, and then it never seemed to get super invested in, which, it just seemed like a market that was right there for the taking. And turns out it absolutely was. Again, Blackout Bingo has been a massive hit, and the sort of many games that have followed that competitive bingo, skill-based competitive bingo for money, it has grown the bingo market tremendously since we launched the product. Yeah.
I mean, that's super cool, right? Like, which is like we're always thinking about ways to innovate, ways to do things, and often it's just the underserved cohort that we're really not even looking at, where there's an ample opportunity for gamers to do something. So even in this winter, so as to call, that gaming is going through, I think there are still opportunities if you really look for things.
I very much agree. I mean, that was again the genesis of Big Run, was like every time we'd ever been a part of something like truly successul, it was when there was an audience that just was sitting there waiting. And so it served them a thing, and up and to the right from there. Like Farmville is such a great example. Like turned a whole cohort of humans who
non-gamers into
you are. You just don't have a game made for you yet.
Exactly.
And then those companies kind of get into a state where the bar to even release a game is so high that it doesn't serve those communities quite as easily anymore.
No, that's the thing it's one of the many things I absolutely love about running my own game company. Like we're about to launch our 11th game in 6 years. Awesome. So shipping, always
shipping.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this a number of times. You mentioned that avoiding crunch is like a core driving thing in your brain because you've gone through the crunch. But if you do have to crunch, shipping is the Band-Aid to it, because it just, if you crunch and don't ship, man, you
Oh
feel
yeah.
it doubly so.
It's the most devastating. It's the most devastating feeling. I mean, really elite bad. It feels
Yep.
awful. And again,
So
it's one of the motivations for why again, I'm not here to talk about the past negatively or
Yeah,
anything.
sure. Yeah,
Number
I'm
of
just saying
I
going
had,
forward, the shipping is so relieving for everyone.
totally. The number
Even
of
though the work is also picks up right after.
yeah, no, that usually means the work kind of has started. And for a lot of people, once you
Yeah.
ship, but yeah.
So I do have a question for you though, Buren. Like y'all picked a cohort which was probably not something too many people were looking at. Was it difficult fundraising? Did you all go through this cycle where, you know what, no, I see a gold mine. I'm not able to convince people there's a gold mine. Okay, let's just ship a game, get metrics, convince them. And so how was your fundraising journey?
Yeah. So our first sort of foray into fundraising was mostly just like friends and family and people we
Yep.
knew, and lots of little angels that helped us along the way, which was really wonderful. And then we launched. We basically used that to get to launch with
Yep.
Blackout Bingo, and then we took our first major VC investment after that from Galaxy Interactive.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Got
then
it.
from there we grew and we needed to expand, and we actually started we moved into a free to play vertical, and we took additional investment at that point.
That makes sense. And so, okay, so let's continue down that journey. The
Sure.
friends and family helping you, great. You know, y'all have hit success. Y'all showing signs of execution. What's next? So y'all got the VC investment. Now it was about game number 2. You said you opened it up for free to play. Did y'all
Yeah.
have a vision that, like, what was that vision like now?
No, very, very, very much so. We had a vision, and part of it was we saw ourselves again like chasing a particular set of audiences and trying to serve those audiences, and one of those was again sort of to take it from like women 30 plus in America and expand that just slightly. We felt like we could position ourselves as the absolute best casual competitive game company. That just wasn't something that was like super being done a ton. And we had a great partner in Skills who provides a lot of things, which is great. And one of the wonderful things that they provide, without getting into the details, like mostly just the ability to quickly put products to market and micros and just see if there's heat. Mm-hmm. So we released a series of games which, had it fluctuated from like, this is a solid business, this did not work at all, this is a medium hit, and then obviously all the while there's Blackout Bingo just like growing, which was great. So we had a vision of like, we could take that idea of like casual competitive and blend the skill portion of it with a free to play product, the more robust free to play product. And this was a thing that a lot of companies were doing and chasing, and you watched free to play evolve into the bundling. Yep. The bundling occurred where it went from like, this is a match 3 game to this is a match 3 collection decoration game with this meta. Yeah. And now that's all that free to, I mean, not all, I should say.
All the progression.
Yeah.
Most of free to play are bundled products that are successful. So that was the vision, and we raised money and built a team to go do that. And we did it. We launched that game. Unfortunately, we launched it into, I don't want to say the worst, but maybe the worst free to play market in history. Like, it was really brutal.
Yeah.
It was like right after, just post IDFA, and it really changed a tremendous amount in terms of one's ability to market. And there was a really big consolidation that you saw occur where, like, if you didn't have an absolutely colossal corpus of data around users that you'd already previously acquired, that you could sort of reacquire, it became very, very challenging. So yeah, let's conservatively say we released that product into some pretty serious headwinds. In terms of finances, in terms of the ability to market. I'm still super proud of that game, but ultimately we then had to decide and think about what the future of free to play and also just gaming in general sort of looks like.
Yep.
Yeah. And is that mainly around user acquisition and the costs of it?
So the mobile space was and will forever be a very simple equation of cost to acquire users and LTV. If the LTV is higher than the ability to acquire a user, you got a business. If it's much higher, you got a really good business. So figuring out like how to get one of those numbers, either the acquisition cost down or the LTV up, like somewhere, some combination of that you have to work on to make the money make sense.
Yeah.
So,
and isn't the problem that the CPIs keep increasing? So that is what makes it difficult, right? Like the cost of acquisition in the US is kind of on the higher side. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, it is not cheap to get users at this point in time. No.
Yep.
But thankfully, again, we have entered into some wells that are different enough. Like the skill, like we watched 3 games actually in the skill space in the last 18 months. And 2 of them are currently scaling like positively. Like we're finding solid tranches of users and cohorts that are like currently paying back positive. Like it's going well. Knock on wood. It's going well. So it's not impossible to find, certainly not cheap users, but users that pay back. Like that is still a reality in certain segments of mobile. But chasing bigger LTVs is certainly the easier thing to fix.
That's what's probably in your control versus the CPIs are obviously more of a demand supply thing outside.
Yes.
Are you able to garner much organic growth in that? It's unbelievable how some things just flash in the pan, and you'll see like my mom, who's a grandma,
right,
talking to my daughter, who's 10, about Wordle, and you're just like, man, you couldn't pay enough for that kind of organic conversations.
No, Wordle is special.
Yeah,
I don't know a whole lot of Wordles, unfortunately. Talk about a perfect product at a perfect time. That is actually, it's also proven. I still play it every day.
Yep.
The longevity on that has been remarkable.
Crazy.
Yeah. But I don't. Some organic and some cross promotion is actually great, and some organic stuff. But unfortunately, it's still mostly it's about going and successfully purchasing users at a palatable enough price that you can ultimately monetize.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And so Buren, so next phase, right? So, successful game, one game, which is obviously meeting with headwinds. You all obviously know the free to play space really well. What's next? So how the latter years of Big Run like?
Yeah. So we definitely doubled down on skill-based gaming, and we've spent a tremendous amount of time in that space, and casual competitive is still the DNA of Big Run, and trying to find audiences that we think need additional service in some way or another. Yep. And where that began to lead us after traditional free to play. Let's use that for the ease of use. Yep. After that sort of imploded to some degree or another for smaller studios, at least, we started looking at what is growing, what is new, what does the future of this space look like? Because one thing, even I think you used the term the winter, and I had not heard that, and I really like it. That's an unfortunate and true. Even in the winter of games, like nobody thinks games are going away. Like games are huge, and they're still making a ton of money, and I believe that despite the fact that there's been a consolidation, I do believe that will fan back out. It just always does. It's the cycle that. So what is going to be the next thing that sort of causes a fan out and causes like something to shift? And I definitely I am of the opinion that we're standing on a very interesting precipice in the monetization. Oh, because another thing that's not going to change, like nobody's going to go back to being like, I'm going to pay $4.99 for this app and get like a
Correct.
that
Yeah.
will always be there. It's not going away, but that's not the future of gaming. I don't think anyone would say, or that's not like, everybody expects to pay $0 for something that they download and play and experience and enjoy. And if they want to additionally, like that's just a market expectation at this point.
Yeah.
So
Buren, I think, remember I said, actually, before we proceed, I would love to kind of double click on the skills part, because, that is where a lot of confusion is. So
Yeah.
skill-based gaming, which could be, the typical slot games, casino games, even though real money is involved in terms of virtual currency, it's not really categorized as real money gambling. So can you just throw some more light on the areas that you all only focus on, and just remove the confusion that exists in a lot of
yeah.
people's minds, honestly?
Oh, I'd love to. So yeah, so obviously free to play is free to play, and again, for the sake of terminology, like traditional free to play, collection, gotcha box mechanics, that's its own, and then skill based gaming, which is blackout bingo, our blackout poker, blackout blackjack, big cooking. We have 9 entries in this space.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely they are games of skill. They are not games of luck. They are not sweepstakes based games. They are not free to play games in the traditional sense, though you can play them for free. Those games monetize by the very simple system of like, I play this game of skill and I think I'm good at it. As a result, I am going to stake my ability to do that with cash, that I'm better than you. So I put up $5, you put up $5. If I win, I get $8 back.
Mm-hmm.
And then skills takes the remainder, and Big Run takes a part of that with skills. And they're like algorithmically proven to be games that are fair. They never pair you with a bot. They pair you with a real human being who you play against and you best for cash. Those are games of skill. And just to bounce back up to the weird regulatory space, those are regulated in their own way as well. They're available in most every state, not every state. They're available in most every country, not every country. But they are different than sweepstakes, and they are different than real money gaming. They are their own unique beast, which we are also deeply invested in games of skill. Yes, did that
sense? that does, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, if I talk to my mom, like, she does not get this difference. She's like, yeah, it's all gambling anyways. I'm like, no, there's skill based gaming, which is different.
Yeah.
And yes, agreed. I think different countries have different rules, but that's where a lot of confusion lies. So I know we're in our last 5 to 10 minutes. I would love to now talk to you about the new games that y'all are cooking.
Well, yeah, I was teasing it up there. We're talking about standing on the precipice of a new and interesting monetization model, and I also just think of evolution of where games are going. Like, it's crazy to think about how genuinely recent, like, going and paying 99 cents for Flappy Bird is like that is like actually, and how far we have come as game makers and operators from that moment till now. But along that path, like, the consumers evolved along with that too. And I think that they were very content for a period of time to spend money and to play games and to receive like digital goods and have that be sort of the end of the experience. I think that they are maturing past that now, which is great. I'm playing a ton of Marvel Rivals because my kids are obsessed with it. Really good game, super fun. I just think about, like, I'm sure the game is making money hand over fist, and good for them. Again, they should. It's super fun and it's super engaging, and I just think about the opportunity that they have there, where you pay for their blue lightning currency or what, I can't remember what it is now, but there's a premium currency you pay for. If in addition to that you were given a promotional currency that you could then if you won enough matches, you got more of it, or you could stake yourself to go win more, or you could do any number of things with that promotional currency that you could then turn into a subscription to Marvel Unlimited, or I'm sorry if I'm tossing out ideas for you.
Yeah.
A Marvel hat, or what, like comics, like I would be so fascinated to see what that would do to their revenue because I have a guess, and it was blow it to the moon. I think that is a real path that is headed towards gaming, and Big Run is certainly. We intend to be on the forefront of that on the free to play mobile space, and that's our next project. That's where.
Can you reveal the name of the game? When what's the launch date or soft launch or anything at all?
Yeah, I think I can tell that the name of the game is going to be called Casino Night. It hopefully will be launching very soon. We're trying to get some beta stuff in the works now. We've been building it on the Snapster platform, which has been fantastic, by the way. I meant to get Snapster in there earlier. I'm sorry. I had this whole bit that I didn't touch on about as an operator deciding what to build your own, rent, and buy. And Snapster has been a really great decision. Like in that first free-to-play model, we rolled a lot of our own technology, which, seemed like the thing to do at the time. It's been really really great to have a partner like Snapster to help us accelerate development on Casino Night. And you guys have been tremendous.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We try not to shill too much on the podcast, but we love to hear.
I'm voluntarily shilling for you guys. I sincerely mean it. I think that is something that I've learned a lot as in the 6 years of being the COO of this company is like, again, you just have to know like when building something super custom and bespoke is like really important. And when having something that works super well and can be supported by a team of people who that's their whole job, and I think it's a lesson I learned round one of in Big Run 2.0. I'm super happy to have Snapster as a partner.
No, super cool. So I think we're at time. It's been obviously a lovely conversation, and I think this is not going to be the only conversation, Buren. Or I feel like we should do another one with like Andrew and you, especially closer to the launch. Super excited to have him as well.
I would love that. He's the talky guy, believe it or not. I've been chit chatting away, but he is actually he's the guy we send in. He's the face. He's great.
No, I love Andrew. Yeah, I worked with him on Farmville. No, I think more importantly, I love the energy. I'm really excited for the game launch. We've obviously loved working with you for the last year, and I think it was also super educational for me. I think one big takeaway is how you folks really focused on underserved markets, but then it was always about learning and trying to find the next thing, the next innovation, which is a great feature that I think you folks have, and it's no surprise that you all are still in business and thriving. So I think one takeaway from this is the fact that always keep learning and always keep innovating, even when things get tough. So thank you, Buren.
Thank you for your time. Really appreciate that. Yeah, thank you guys.